welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Blake Rafino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Been a long weekend for my family and I, but very excited to be back in this situation and to be back talking to all of you fine ladies and gentlemen. It's time to go. It's time to get back. And it's time to get back to 5 to 6 days a week. So we have been only doing 4 shows a week. We'll be getting back to 5 and 6 days a week as we'll be firing back up our Saturday morning shows. We'll have a little bit of a twist to it. We'll be doing the SEC. We'll talk a lot of LSU, but we'll be talking a lot of SEC football in there as well. So breaking news. Oh, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that, but huge show in store for you here tonight. Camp is near. Zachy, we're about a week away. If you smell it, it's college football season, y'all. Dog, we are a week away from the pads hitting. We are a week away from quarterbacks and receivers and running backs and linebackers and DBs and coaches yelling, "You suck!" I'm so excited. Just can't hide it. Let's freaking go. Camp is a week away, looking so much forward to that. Jay Johnson update. We'll talk about Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson did have a very big recruit there this week. I put a lot of what I know and what I'm thinking inside the message board. So you can go to AYSSnetwork.com, sign up for the message board today. $7 a month. You can't get a cup of coffee these days less than $7 a month. I put a lot in there about Paul Skeens. We'll talk about that just a little bit here tonight. Bryant Kelly keeps recruiting. Zach, I could put a Rafino's rants in here. I got more people worried about Brad Davis than I know what to do with. Absolute freaking Rudy poos. Oh, my booty hurts. Oh, that's what you sound like. Matter of fact, strike up the Rafino's rants tonight. It's coming. RELAX. Relax. It's going to be fine, I promise you. Carter the Power Bryant joins us at 7:30 and his normal Monday slot. Looking forward to talking to him. College football does have an issue. Players, I guess now can transfer to 4 different schools in 4 different years. Who cares? Right? I'm all for the one-time transfer rule. But come on, man. Come on. You want to go the collective bargaining agreement route, your ass can get cut. You want to do that? We'll talk on that as well. And guys, don't let me forget. Do not let me forget. We got to get to the Rudy Poo of the week. I've been missing it because we just have so much going on. It's been really fun. All right, let's get to a couple comments. Roderick Duga said earlier in these comments, sends his condolences. Thank you, sir. He also says, I like the message board, bro. Yeah, man. Putting content out before it even breaks the airways. Zach Tebow is in the house, Ryan. But Richard, Rob, Barry, James, Ed, BK, All Boy 507 say, let's go, man. You're right. Let's go. Let's get this thing started, y'all. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kim Elam, good afternoon, Ms. Kim, says Camp cannot get come fast enough. I agree. No doubt. I'll give you some key things that I'm looking forward to going to see. Mainly, it's all going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty much all of it is on the offensive side of the ball because, and I'll explain that again here tonight. Some of my concerns and worries. LSU does get picked fifth. We've talked about this at extreme length. At this point, LSU getting picked fifth in the SEC West. Some media members don't know how to do math. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't know if this is going to be the right sound, but we're going to try it. Spooky. Math is spooky. Media members, if you're picking LSU to go 9-3 next season and you have them fifth in the West, it's mathematically impossible. Bruh. Mathematically impossible. Some of you know how to write out of this world, but you can't add 1 + 1. Come on, dog. Hit me with the bruh again. Hit me with the bruh again. Bruh. I mean, it took you like 66 years, Zach. Lord. Chris English says you can't go 9-3 and finish fifth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Noble Patterson III says QB1 decision will be key to LSU success. I greatly agree there. Greatly agree there. Okay. Let's get this thing started, y'all. Let's get this thing started, y'all. So many of you watching us live on Facebook right now. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all of your social media groups. I know that all you people on Facebook, you're in those social media LSU groups. Share to them all. Share to all of them. Also, please share to your own social media pages. We greatly appreciate you doing that. If you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Bringing you excellent content in there. Listening to us on XM Radio, or you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And please go and subscribe to our message board. Putting a lot of stuff that we weren't putting on Facebook and Twitter or on the shows. So just some things I'm hearing before they hit the airways. We're putting it inside the message board. I'm giving you a lot of in-depth detail. Go to the forum, subscribe there as well. Okay, let's pay these bills. Fire in all your comments and your questions. We'll get to as many of them as we can. But, Zach, we got to pay the bills because Zach takes all my money. Guys, I'm pretty much doing this for free at this point. Zach, Mr. Blake. Man, can't do this, can't do that. Zach's taking all my money. So let's go ahead and pay the bills for Zachy. None better than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons and betonline.ag. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas, casino, and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website. Use betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Rafino sent you on by. Apparently, Keaton is stirring up people inside of the Rudy Crew chat. He says, I don't want to see Jaden at QB at all. So look, listen, I understand people have a loyalty to one quarterback or the other, but somebody's got to tell you guys the truth. And look, I am going to do this Rafino's rants on Brad Davis, just maybe not in the way that you expect it. Guys, you don't know what you have at quarterback right now. Through either four of them. Jane Daniels has a lot of starts. He hasn't started in the SEC. He started in the Pac-12. His team went 8-4, 8-5 a season ago. He didn't have a lot of talent around him. His entire offensive line, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs went to the portal. I mean, he's playing with a bunch of young freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores. He's running for his life. He was under pressure the most in the Pac-12. You can look up that stat. More pressures were on Jane Daniels in a half of a season than Max Johnson all of last season. What is he going to do in the SEC? If he starts, we'll see. Garrett Nussmeier. People are only talking about Garrett mainly due to a spring game where he still almost threw 2 interceptions. And people say, oh, Blake, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't care about if a player intercepts it or not. But my problem is if you're basing what you believe to be logic about Garrett Nussmeier, he made 2 bad decisions in the second half. He got sacked, I think, 4 or 5 times in the first half. He missed wide open receivers and tried to force the ball down the field. He's a good dude. He's a great player. So is Jaden. But there are some issues. You don't know who's going to start there. Miles hasn't played a game in 2 years. The scar looks really nasty. You could tell that there's a little bit of a zip off of his fastball. How much is he devoted to football? That's the question that he has to answer. It's not the ability with Miles Brennan. Does he love football? Yes or no? Not just want to be out there with the boys. None of that. Does this man, Love, love football? And then Walker, guys, quite honestly, I mean, he is the most untalked about human being on this team. We get in these Twitter spaces and everybody freaks out. Blake, we ain't got a quarterback in this class. Like, God forbid that the transfer portal doesn't have a damn near unlimited amount of transfers at this point. Now what? So easy to forget what happened in January or December. Hell, or February, whenever the kid came in, I can't even remember at this point. Oh, he was a spring. He was an early enrollee. Somebody needed to tell you what the truth is. If you're vying for any 4 of those quarterbacks, quite honestly, you don't know that right now. That is why a week from today or a week from tomorrow, whenever camp starts, so we're about a week away, players start reporting, all this good stuff. We're about to find out who our starting quarterback is. You'll have a pretty damn good idea within the first 2 weeks who the guy is going to be, unless Brian Kelly starts shutting things down, which quite honestly, guys, and the media will hate it, I kind of hope he restricts a little bit. And then as the season goes on, let him do what he's got to do. I don't need to see – guys, I got to be honest. I don't personally need to see anything. If they want to shut it down and they want to get ready for Florida State, good on them. Doesn't bother me one iota, but you better go out there and win that son of a gun if you do that now. You got 4 talented dudes. 4 talented dudes. But don't come in here and telling people that they don't know what they're talking about, especially this guy, whoever it is, Keaton or whoever, when you can't vie for any 4 of the quarterbacks and say it with your chest, as Kevin Hart says. Don't do that now. All right. Let's get to a couple of them now. Get to this Brad Davis thing. Got to get something off my chest. Pause. Mark Spell says, hashtag Ask Blake, with Sage Ryan being healthy this year, do you see him making a splash? I think he could. Everyone focused on the 5-star safety we lost last year and forgot that we have one that hasn't even played yet. True. Keene says he wants Miles Brennan. Okay, sounds good, buddy. But you can't And here it goes again. LSU has too much talent at wide receiver to have a QB pulling the ball down and running after the first read. You mean like Lamar Jackson? And Keaton, with all due respect, buddy, that means that definitely shows me you didn't watch a lot of Jaden Daniels. You really didn't. But I'm not having this fight in here with you tonight. I promise you that. We do got a lot to get into. If you missed it, over the weekend, while Zach was in Cozumel getting rubbed down by honeys on the beach, Zach, where's the edit? Tavon Galloway is about to commit. Bro, they're bringing me mimosas and a freaking coconut, dude. While our producer's out getting rubbed down with suntan lotion because he's whiter than Christmas morning and it's snowing outside and white paper plate in a snowstorm. 4-star tight end Tavon Galloway commits to LSU out of the state of Ohio. I will tell you now that he was, and I put this in the message board, was the first commitment, true commitment for Bryant Kelly in the 2024 class. One thing is for certain, right? Like one thing is 1,000% for certain. Bryant Kelly has done one thing in recruiting that you cannot say that he's been bad at. That's the tight end. You have Mark McWay, who's already committed. You have Tavon Galloway that just committed this past weekend. And then you have Trudez Green, the kid in the Felicianas, who's only but 6'7", 260 pounds and can run like the wind blows. He's LeBron, dude. Bro, LeBron this kid Trudez, the tight end out of the Felicianas, he's LeBron. He can't. He's a 5-star tight end. If LSU reels him in the 2024 class, guys, I'm sorry, and he can catch the football, watch out. You got to give Bryant Kelly credit where credit's due. One thing that he knows how to recruit well is tight ends. He's got 2 on the board right now, 3 if you give him Mason Taylor, which, by the way, Mason Taylor was not a give me signee in this class. Alabama was closing in hard on Mason Taylor at the end of his recruitment. They really, really wanted him to be a part of the Crimson Tide. Brian Kelly and company held them off, and the kid is now on LSU's campus. All good to him. So you did get a big commitment. Campus a week away. And so, I mean, look, there's a lot of great momentum going into this fall camp that you just can't ignore. July was a very, very big month, and it's not over yet. Guys, we still got a whole nother week. I think Saturday is the 31st. You got until Saturday, and I still think you very well could get 1, maybe 2 commitments. Shelton Sampson told the 5-star wide receiver from Catholic High School, told our buddy Corey Roden over at WBRZ that he wants to get the commitment done before their season starts. Guys, are you sitting here week 1 and you have 2 5-star wide receivers in this recruiting class? So, again, when we come on this show and we tell you to RELAX, you got to relax. If I tell you guys it's time to hit the panic button, exactly like we did with Orgeron, it's time to hit the panic button. I didn't personally hit the panic button until Auburn. Maybe I was a little late on that one. But there's no reason to hit the panic button whatsoever. Zero, zilch, nada. No reason to hit the panic button. I'm going to say this because I want to get to camp, and then I want to talk on Brad Davis before Carter Bryant gets here. I do got to talk on Jay Johnson, too, at some point about Paul Skeens making his way to Baton Rouge this weekend. I'll give you a little bit of an update as I know how. But let's get to a couple of very quick comments before we get to that. Jordan Haydad says, but Balake, I'm in all in on Nicholas Harbor. I am too. You get him, I'm okay with it. LGZ, kind of now, Jeezy, says Trudez also hell of a basketball player. He is. That might be my week 1 game, guys, this year. I guess this is Zach because Pooh Bear just joined. He was eating our Friday leftover funeral chicken. We had funeral chicken at my grandmother's funeral, and I shipped some to Pooh Bear, and he said, Mr. Blake, I'll be there in a minute. It's funeral chicken kicking. The is so crispy.
Oh, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
All right. But Sack said LOL rolling on the floor, whatever that means. It's not my fault he was getting rubbed down by Honeys and Cosmel. Not my fault. Did I do that? All right, last one, then we'll get to camp. This dude, Keaton, man, he's going hard in the paint. Pause. I don't know. He says, like Big BK said, the quarterback needs to take care of the ball and get the ball in playmakers' hands. This man's all about quarterback talk tonight, y'all. All about quarterback tonight. Rick, I'll get you a comment in just a minute. Y'all star that Rick's comment about Derek Williams. I'll get to that as well. First off, good evening, everybody. Now, it's not everyone, Pooh. You say everybody. You don't say everyone. You say everybody. I'm going to need you to edit this comment and put everybody. And don't put a V in there. Put everybody. All right. Look, so camp is about a week away. I mean, maybe a little bit more than a week away. I think they report on Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, and then practice starts next day. Let me tell you what I'm looking for. So this weekend, I did something really bad. Y'all. I think it was yesterday or day before. I went and watched the Auburn LSU game from last season. Why did I put myself through this torture? I got to tell you guys one thing. I thought, I remember the coaching for LSU last year being so bad. Guys, I legitimately forgot how bad it was. So let me read this list down to you of my 7 big takeaways. I'll tell you what I'm looking at in camp. This will just give you an idea. The first 30 plays, guys, get this. Producers, get this. The first 30 plays for scrimmage from LSU offensively. 28 dropbacks, 2 rushes. Of those 2 rushes, the 2 rushes went for 9 yards. And everybody tried to convince me that LSU couldn't run the football, right? Here's another thing. Max Johnson was pressured on 65% of his dropbacks. He got hit 7 times. Of the 7 times that he got hit, he went 7 for 7. Receivers weren't getting open after the game kept going on. Pretty much Derek Mason knew exactly what Jake Peets was calling. That's number 3. Number 4 is this. This is the biggest thing. They knew LSU so damn well, they started dropping 9 dudes into coverage. 9 effing dudes in coverage. That's number 4. Number 5. If we can make a tackle, especially on Bo Nix, we win that football game. Last and not least, this is the one that I have starred the most. 4 dropped touchdowns in the end zone. 4. Let me say that again. 4 dropped touchdowns in the end zone. Guys, you should have won that game. We should have won that game. And you can pop in the Alabama film. It's a lot of the same. You can pop in the Auburn film. It's a lot of the same. You can pop in the Arkansas film. It's a lot of the same. We have a lot of question marks on offense now. A lot of those guys aren't here. But as they say, if a lot of those guys aren't here, might be a good thing. LSU has a lot of talent. They don't have the experience. I will tell you this. Did you guys see Anthony Bradford? Hey, bruh. Anthony Bradford, the Michigan man. Not the Michelin man, the Michigan man. He was Dr. Frake's one of the best offensive linemen in the nutrition center. My man looks like he dropped 30 pounds. All right. First day at camp, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to watch offensive line. I'm going to watch quarterback play. I'm going to watch receivers. I'm going to watch the running backs. I want to see what this offense looks like up close and personal after an offseason. I think the defense is going to be fine. I think your DBs will be fine. I think your front 7 will be fine. I think you got depth, quite honestly. Maybe you can make the argument that you have depth at all 3 positions. and guys that are talented enough to play. They might not have the experience, but they have the talent. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do offensively. If you're asking me to shake a crystal ball and look into it, my number one worry is offense. It's offense. We're here. We are here. It's time to go and see what these guys and how these guys have legitimately put in and the work that they've done in the offseason. And you got to give a lot of credit to Jaden Daniels. You got to give a lot of credit to Miles Brennan. You got to give a lot of credit to Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard. They've been out there working with the guys. Let's see what they can do. I think the entire receiving corps was in California last week, if I'm not mistaken, with Jaden. Let's see how they perform. Let's see how they do. Let's end this here, though, and then we'll get to as many comments before Carter comes in here. My producers are telling me to get to the Penn Jones comment. Penn Jones says, Zach playing Deshaun Watson down in Mexico. Damn, dog. I mean, my man was getting rubbed out in Mexico this weekend. He was. You wonder why Pooh Bear was out here struggling? Pooh Bear's talking to Deion. Pooh Bear was producing our show, smoking a cigar with Deion Sanders at Swag Media Days, and Zach was getting rubbed down at Cosmel. Two best producers in the Southeast, and one of them's talking to Deion, smoking a cigar, and the other one's in Cancun. Meanwhile, I can't even buy a soft drink. Ben's out here crying. Guys, it's a joke. It's a joke. Let me get to this, though, very quickly about Brad Davis before we get to Carter the Power Bryant. It has come to my attention on my message board and other places that apparently there's an absolute panic around Brad Davis because Chase Basantis, a New Jersey native, picked Texas A&M over LSU. Chase Basantis is a very talented young man. Very talented young man. LSU's known for a couple weeks they weren't getting Chase Basantis. They had a very good idea, very good feeling. They weren't getting Chase Basantis. Probably why you got Paul Mabinga out of Georgia. Very underrated young man. It's probably why LSU has put the full court pressure on DJ Chester. Oh, and by the way, LSU is still highly in regards in for guys like Zalance Hurd and Tyree Adams out of St. Aug. So let me just make sure I'm counting this correctly. The last class, Brad Davis got six offensive linemen to come to LSU. It is trending in a direction where LSU is going to get 4 in this class. At the current moment, that's where it's trending. I still think they're going to go get 2 guys out of the portal. I think they get 6 again. If Brad Davis gets 12 offensive linemen and 2 recruiting classes, zip it.
Ding, 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 ding.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, and by the way, guys, it's freaking July. I understand that some media members are hitting the absolute panic button on Brad Davis. They hit it on him again last year, and then what happened? You got Will Campbell. You got Bo Borderline. Fitzgerald West, I promise you, is going to be a really damn good center. He reminds me so much of Lloyd Cushenberry. It's insane. Y'all got to relax, dude. You got to relax. All right. I kept him waiting. Carter, the Power Bryant. Let's get to him. Let's pay these bills. Let's talk about our good friends over at Gramco, my good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm. Guys, we return in a minute and a half with your favorite guest, Carter Bryant. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter the Power Bryant. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Life is pretty crazy right now. I know this this story kind of sort of broke like a little bit after I believe you got on air. I'm trying to do the math here. But this Nick Saban story that he thought about retiring after the kick six and joining College Game Day, according to a biographer in Alabama. He met, according to him and the New York Post, he met with a major media agent to talk about College Game Day, and the kick six almost forced him into retirement, but he decided to keep it going. It's crazy. It's
all
crazy.
Right. Let me just say this: I saw it, okay, and I read it. You know what I was thinking when I heard that? Like, legitimately know what I was thinking when I heard that?
Bruh.
Or I don't know. Pooh Bear, hit another funny sound. Not that one. Not that one. I don't know. I don't believe it. Well, let me say this. I believe he met with him.
Right.
Carter, I don't think he was going anywhere.
Boo, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
I like that one. Carter, do you really think he was going anywhere? Because if you remember, and I went and looked this up very quickly, he got a new contract extension that said that Alabama had to pay him he had to be the highest paid coach in college football. So Kirby Smart signs a $112 million deal worth $10.5, $11 million a year. Now they have to pay Saban. They have to get him there.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. What do you believe about that, though?
I don't believe he was ever seriously considering it. Saban is very meticulous. I think he just kicked the tires on it just for if, like, within the next couple of years, at least he had an understanding of what the ESPN organization was all about, right? And I think that's why he did it. I do think, though, he had he had already accomplished so much by the kick six, and he then, of course, continued to do what he was doing. So I don't fully believe it, but what I do find interesting now is, let's say, the Sean McVay thing, where Sean McVay would have made $15 million to be a commentator at least. If Romo was getting 20, he was going to get at least 10 to 15. And he gets $8 to $10 million now to be the coach of the Rams, which is a 24/7 job where being a commentator, it's not as hard. Yeah, it's seasonal. It's very seasonal. I do think a lot of elite coaches are going to start thinking about it because of the grind. And I do think the timing of this seems to be very interesting as well. It's an older story. I do think we might be a
At
little
the
bit
end.
close. Not quite there, but we're a little bit closer because there's been a lot of crotchety Saban this offseason, Blake.
Well, look, let me say this about Saban. I think he tries to get one or two more, and he's out. He's talking about how, and maybe he's not. Dude, you can tell from SEC media days, he hates doing house chores.
Yeah.
He hates it. So, look, we'll see. Well, I did find it very interesting. So let's talk about the first place that he didn't win a national championship with, and that's the LSU Tigers. Carter, we're a week away, and I told you this, and I just told my audience. I was watching the Auburn LSU game from a season ago. My God, I kept thinking to myself, if Bryant Kelly were the coach, bro, we win that game. Carter, I charted this. In the first 30 plays scripted, you ready for this? 28 dropbacks, 2 designed runs.
Yeah. And like you pointed out as well, they started running the lightest boxes. They would have
put 9 dudes in coverage.
9 guys in coverage, and you still couldn't run against it. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
They did try. They tried one time in the red zone. You know what they ran? Instead of like inside zone, outside zone. They ran a sweep to the outside. Right. They had 6 dudes on the left side of the line. And
look, you give Auburn's front 7 all the credit. I mean, they dominated us. Hall's a really good player that he comes back this next year. But yeah, that was one of the worst LSU games. And what made it really bad, Blake, wasn't just the fact that LSU lost. It's that we were the 8 p.m. game. And there was a lot of
eyeballs.
Eyeballs and just a lot of national media there. Like a lot of the top shelf guys were there because it was a Saturday night in Death Valley. And that was really crazy.
And since the pandemic. So dude, it was packed.
You want to know what's interesting though? I'm okay. This is going to be completely different, and this isn't going to excite a lot of your viewers. But I've been doing a lot of research on this lately, and it's nuts to think about. The most dominant LSU player of the past couple of seasons is from Auburn, and his name was Avery Atkins. And what was really crazy, I had never actually looked at how great of a football player this guy was. Okay. He is the best kickoff artist ever in college football.
Right.
Ever. The data backs this up. So normally in college football, your touchback percentage, like the best of the best touchback percentages, right, are normally in like the late 70s, early 80s and up. He was 75% or better in 4 full seasons, 80% or better in 3 full seasons. He also made tackles. He also recovered fumbles. He also had fake punts. He was also very physical. He was also an number 18. But he was a very good tackler. He was an all-state safety. He was an all-state soccer player. And he was unreal. And when you really think about it, and I started to wrap my brain around how good this guy was. When you don't have a touchback, that takes away serious hits that your guys got to have on kickoff team, right? The biggest benefit of having a ton of touchbacks is that some of those athletes you have on kickoff teams are guys that actually do play on defense, play on offense. They don't have to hit, right? It relieves you of having to potentially, Blake, you played the game. You know how dangerous kickoff can be. You didn't have to worry about it.
I was too fat and slow to play kickoff.
Yeah. And when I played, I was on.
Thanks for trying not to laugh there. Bro.
Well, no, I mean, look, but kickoff can be a very dangerous thing. And
I was the up man, or what do you call that? The protector on punt.
Yes.
Now that shit, when a guy gets to run full speed at you and you got to stop him dead in his tracks, that hurts. It hurts, bro. I'm telling you.
The truth, though, is that he also punted this last year because Peyton Todd wasn't fully healthy. And I was starting to look into it. I was like, Avery Atkins is one of the most dominant, consistent LSU players at what he did. And it's crazy to think about. Now, they do have the transfer, the Finnison kid coming in from Northwestern. We'll see how he does. He is
Bramblett.
Yeah, and Bramblett coming in also from Notre Dame, the punter. And ironically, Blake, they're both from Tuscaloosa, which is kind of crazy. So your punter last year was from Auburn. Your punter this year is from Tuscaloosa. Your kickoff expert was from Auburn. And now your kickoff expert this year is probably going to be from Tuscaloosa. But I wanted to share that because, it was just something that we always just kind of assumed. And Avery Atkins, he also benched 330, which is actually really good for that kid's size. He was really, really freaking good. And he still has a year of eligibility left. I don't even know what he's doing now. I'm very interested to see how LSU special teams adjust. Because the one thing we could say, Blake, is, I'm really high on Coach Polian. Obviously, the recruiting, we know about that. We know about his dad. We know he has head coaching experience. But if there was something LSU over these past couple of years did not decline in, it was special teams. Greg McMahon was a really good coach, and hopefully that continues with Coach Polian.
Let me throw this your way. Let's talk. It's kind of sad the punter and the kickoff guy is your most consistent player. That can't happen. It can happen. But nevertheless, I will say this. Something that I was surprised about in that Auburn game was just how physical we were on the defensive front. It wasn't until early in the fourth quarter where LSU's defense is kind of finally broke, and it was like, dude, whatever. And they kind of gave it up. But let me throw this your way. And I was watching I watched the top 20 Brian Kelly games at Notre Dame. Bro, do you realize how many turnovers, pick sixes, and interceptions they got in the last 10 years? It is insane. Whether it be Marcus Freeman, whether it be your boy Clark Lee, or whether it be the new head coach at Duke, Carter, they are so disciplined on special teams with 3 different DCs. Do you think that's a Brian Kelly thing then? Or do you believe that might just be a Notre Dame thing and maybe he can translate it to LSU?
I think it is a BK thing to a certain degree. I think, obviously, you go back to those mid-2010 Auburn Notre Dame games and teams. Brian Van Gorder was their defensive coordinator, and he just wasn't that great. And the fact that he continued to make good defensive coordinator hires showed you that his coaching hire practices worked, right? And what's
they led the country in pick sixes. I had to look this up because I was like, you got to lead the country. They led the country 2 seasons in a row under Clark Lee.
Yeah. And what's really interesting as well is they played a lot of good. They played a lot of good quarterbacks, Blake.
They played 7 of them that got drafted in a row.
And I know it doesn't sound great, but they did own Sam Darnold. They were really good.
Dude, they made that poor kid's life hell.
They are really good. They played the Ryan Finleys, the Sam Woffords, or the John Woffords. He's the Rams backup.
They played the kid at Temple that's with Carolina now. Was it PJ something?
They also played Bryce Perkins of Virginia, who's another Rams backup. So they played a lot of good quarterbacks. So this year's going to be interesting. I'm working on a deep dive right now, Brian Kelly versus good quarterbacks, and it's
Oklahoma. They went to Norman and beat the shit out of Oklahoma. You hear me? They went into Norman. I didn't even remember that game. Carter, bad baby. They were whipping them up and down the field. I was like, bro, Big K just can't win the game in the playoff.
What year did they play OU? I
forget. I think it was maybe Deshaun Kaiser was the quarterback. So like 5 or 6 years ago.
Let me know. I'm trying to remember.
Them down. You hear? I mean, beat them down.
I love it.
It's insane. Anyway, all right. You posted a video today about Derek Williams.
Let's go.
I'm giving you the floor. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah. Obviously, you're really well connected, and look, he's really good. He's a really special football player, right? And I know if you're from LSU's, like if we're looking at this from an LSU perspective, it's like, well, LSU does have all these safeties committed. It's just that they don't have Derek Williams committed, and that's one of those things where he's just a really good football player. And it's not that Yates or Doherty or the kid that they have committed in 2024 aren't good players. It's just when you have a 5-star safety in your state, you always want to make that a priority, right? So that's all there is to it. I do feel pretty good about LSU.
Carter, 2012, Notre Dame 30, Oklahoma 13.
Landry Jones was the quarterback. I like that throwback, man. But yeah, look, Derek Williams is a really good safety. I mean, he hits really hard. He's got ball skills. I mean, he does it all. He just pops whenever you watch him. And I do think, knowing that he likes LSU, I don't think this was a case where he didn't want to go to LSU. I know people around him love LSU. Westgate, just because one player goes to Alabama doesn't mean everybody's going to be going out of state now. Or Corey Raymond just went to Florida doesn't mean just because he went there, kids are interested in going other places, right? Texas did a really good job recruiting him. You give him a lot of credit. Texas has done a really good job recruiting everybody. I know it's not fun giving the Longhorns a compliment, but knowing that they've accomplished nothing under Sark and just nothing in general in recent years, the fact that they get this train rolling, whether it be name, image, and likeness or whatnot, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But LSU's not out of it as far as like just intel per se. But the bottom line is you shouldn't worry about intel. Just be glad that communication is starting to pick up just a little bit, and hopefully LSU is able to talk him into at least consider coming to LSU, because he is a big time football player.
Sounds like somebody's starting to hear something.
Hey, man, Blake, look, you're the master insider, man. You're Woj and I'm Shams, man. I occasionally, well, actually, Shams is really, really good. I'm trying to think. I guess
don't say Kendrick Perkins.
No, I'm giving you the Windhorse. I'll give you the Windhorse, baby. Brian Windhorse, baby. That is still for people. Yes, exactly. Man, I'm not gonna lie. So when I was in LA, I saw Brian Windhorse walking around, and I froze. I was like, "That's what this guy."
Did you just say wobbling around?
No, I saw him just walking around in LA.
Oh.
But I was like, this guy. I kind of wanted to go up and talk to him. I was like, no, that's Windy, man. That's Brian Windhorse. Still, that is the most legendary.
He'll never live that down.
Never. It's the best. It's the best, man.
He should get that tatted on himself.
Yes. I mean, but honestly, right now, Blake, what's interesting about recruiting is what a lot of the insiders are saying, the guys that do call high school coaches every single day and all that. The likelihood that a lot of these Louisiana guys commit before their senior season looks to be pretty high. So, all the people putting out the hashtag Shelton Stays, I'm one of those people as well, will probably have an answer before he plays the senior season, which is kind of exciting because that would be pretty big for LSU.
And if they get some Lance Hurd,
it's a big class.
Adams.
That's a big class, Blake. That's a big class.
Is it starting to make sense a little bit now? You know what I mean? Like, Carter, for me, if they can get a consistent top 5 class, Brian Kelly's going to win a natty, or he's going to get damn close. That's
Yeah.
just me. They're going to get really damn close. I fully believe that. Clemson's average recruiting ranking was eighth. But what they did was they replaced the pieces that they had to. And they're doing great. Look, their defensive line, I mean, Jesus, you can't go a season without their defensive line just being bad. Like, they're always really good. And I think Clemson's going to be a good team this year. I mean, they don't play anybody, but I got them for my playoff. But that's neither here nor there.
Ooh,
so we'll see.
that I like that. Clemson,
dude, number one, they don't play anybody. Okay, that's number one. And Carter, I watched every highlight of Clemson's season last year. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If Clemson's receiving core drops another pass, everybody's putting all this on DJ. Dude, I saw him hit a receiver in the face mask, and he was just trying to catch it and miss, and it got stuck in the side of his helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm out on DJU. I know he's lost the weight. I know.
Connor Kublik. That's fine. Then pop in Connor Kublik. I'm okay with that.
I actually am a big Cade Klubnik guy. So
Oh, it's
my
Cade, not Connor. Connor's the brother.
Yes. So my final, I actually did agree with 247, and I had Cade as my number one guy for a while. And, 247 agreed with me. I normally don't agree totally with their rankings, but man, Cade can really play. Now, what's interesting, and this is always something I find interesting, and you talked about this on my channel a few weeks ago. Cade always played with huge leads, right? Westlake, their program is just insane, and they kill everybody in Texas. So he was playing with a bunch of like high level D1 guys. It's going to be interesting because, if he does have to play as a true freshman, there's going to be a lot of guys as athletic as him, where he's used to playing in these 50-0 kind of games. But I do agree with you. I am pretty high on Cade Klubnik. I had him and Walker Howard about the same. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Couple more. We'll get you on out of here. I got to tell you something, Carter. I'm not camp starting next week.
Let's go.
I'm not worried defensively. Now I'm going to go watch them. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to go watch the DBs. But when you can watch the DBs, you normally can watch the receivers. Buddy, I'm going to be all my focus is on the offense.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately all on the offense. I am concerned about a lot of things on here. I guess my question would be, and we got a bot in the chat, if we can get him out of here.
I get him too.
I'm really worried about let me rephrase or get a better adjective. I'm not worried. I don't know the right adjective to use. Maybe I just need to see it before I start saying more things about the offense. You're replacing 5 guys on the offensive line. You have hardly any production returning at running back. Kayshon Boutte, honestly, and going back and watching games from last season, God bless it, really was the only guy. Carter, he had 3 catches and 99 yards against Auburn. You had 4 drops in the end zone, and you have really talented guys. I think they do get better, though. Man, I don't know what to make of this offense right now without a starting quarterback. Are you with me? Is the biggest question mark going into the season the offense?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think
skeptical is a good word, or concerned.
Yeah. And what I think happened, Blake, over these past couple of years is because LSU's defense was so atrociously bad. Well, they weren't so bad to where they were so. Blake just disappeared out of nowhere. I hope he's okay. They were really bad.
I'm here.
Oh, I was wondering.
I was just giving you the floor.
No. I was like, whoa, what's happening? No, but look, here's the truth. The offensive side of the ball is so much more important than the defensive side of the ball. Okay, it's just true. Okay, but because LSU's defense was so bad last year, we think the defense needs a bigger overhaul than what it actually needs.
No,
right?
I don't think they needed one really.
Well,
if you really go back and look at it, because Carter, here's my thing. 6 rushing yards against Bama.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It was because they switched up the scheme some. It was that LSU scheme was so bad for a year and a half before that we just have it seared in our brains that the defense needs a lot of work. The truth is, it is the offensive side of the football, right? With what you just said, you don't know who your quarterback is just yet. They might. We'll see. You need to replace all the offensive linemen. And today, I did a film study on Ed Ingram in our private room on PHL. And
what do y'all do in a private room?
Private room, the Patreon stuff. Here's the one thing about Ed Ingram is towards the end of the year, he started winning games, right? He was playing so well that individually he was starting to take over football games. And it's hard to play, and Blake, you played the offensive line. It's hard to get to that level where you're just throwing guys around. And the Texas A&M game is one of the best games I've ever seen an LSU offensive lineman play. And you're
talking about Ed
Ingram,
mm-hmm.
Yes. And A&M knew we were running a few times, but we were still able to run it because Ed was just throwing guys around. And when you have that level of a player, it's hard to replace that. Now, most offensive linemen don't get to that level. It's really hard to be in that Lyle tier where we just know run it to the left, the guy's going to get a hole there for you. Ed was playing that well. And, Tremont Shorts also had a really good spring and also had a really good spring game. Yeah, he's a good football player. He's very experienced. He's grown, right? But it's still going to be hard replacing not only Ed Ingram, but Austin Deculus was a really good right tackle. We don't know for sure 1,000% who the right tackle is going to be going into next year. So, man, there's so many different question marks surrounding this offense. And, none of it gets answered until you really know who your quarterback is going to be.
Here's what I love about the offense, especially the offensive line, is they're getting vertical. Okay, meaning when you run zone blocking schemes, if I'm the center, Carter, and you're the right guard, and we're double teaming a guy, one of us has got to get vertical quickly. Even if Carter, I get physically imposed, okay, a running back can usually make a cut for 3 or 4 yards. You get 4 yards every rush, you're not going to get a word out of me. I promise you that. You're not going to get a word out of me. They did that later in the season, and Jake Peets was so RPO heavy and didn't know what he should do on the offensive line. The guys in the Auburn game never, ever in the first half got to the second level because they were worried about getting a flag thrown. Carter, where's the linebackers going to go if you're not getting to the second level? I think that the running game gets improved on that. I think that they're able to run the football a lot better because of it. The only thing that I'm worried about is on a critical third down and a really talented dude on the edge rushes Will Campbell or your right tackle. Does experience play into this where they get over you on one in a critical third down situation? We don't know that yet, but I do think from a I don't know if you have more talent on this offensive line yet, but I know that you'll be more technically sound than you were a season ago, which I have a lot of faith in. But my God, man, the quarterback thing is, like you said, the biggest thing for me of the unknown. Did we talk about – no. We did talk about Brian Kelly's leg comments, right? But it was so fresh in our minds about the quarterback thing.
The ability,
But I got to be honest, the more and more I look at it, Carter, you in this offense and going back and watching Cincinnati versus Alabama, you better not be a duck or quack, mother sucker. You're going down. So, Carter, I don't know what I don't know, but it fully feels to me that they're going full on spread. Now, whether they slow it down or not, I don't know. Am I crazy here? Am I thinking wrong?
I think the most interesting thing, I mean, obviously they're going to spread it out. What?
Keep going. I said, well, that's a yes. I'm crazy, but
No. Well, everyone knows you're crazy, Blake. Come on. I mean, that's automatic. But no, I don't think the spread will be interesting. I think the pace in which LSU plays is going to be.
Dude, like, are they going to go in a huddle situation?
I think that's going to be the most fascinating thing, right? I think the one thing about the Denbrock offense is Cincinnati played at a slower pace. They were outside the top 100 in plays run per game. So, number one, that means two things: that you hit a lot of explosive plays, and number two, that also means that you probably didn't run the hurry up. Where last year I thought LSU at times was probably going too fast, and that's tough, right? And once again, that is very QB dependent, how fast or slow you go, right? It's very interesting. And I think Mike, as a play caller, is very interested to know, and by Mike Denbrock, who his quarterback's going to be, because it does heavily influence who.
Do you think that they have a pretty good idea of the two guys? Do you think it's just a 2-guy race, not a 3?
I still think it's a 3-guy race. Okay. I do. And that's not intel. That's just how I personally feel. I still think that they are evaluating all 3 of them. I do think, for me, though, one thing to keep in mind is, like, yes, Notre Dame last year had a bunch of questions surrounding who their best quarterback was, right? A lot of the people wanted to get Jack Cohn, the experienced transfer from Wisconsin, out of there, and they wanted to play the Buchner guy or whatever. The difference, though, is Denbrock knew who his guy was for 4 years as a full play caller. And Ritter
let him learn. He let him learn.
Exactly. And that's a huge juxtaposition from play caller to play caller. Now, I will say this, and
Desmond Ritter played so bad in that game. I went back and watched it last night. Dude, missed wide open throws. I get he was under pressure and he was getting hit a lot. But Carter, you got to make those throws, though, buddy. If you can get it out, you got to be accurate, or as accurate as you can be.
Yeah, and his honestly, this is going to sound like the most pro LSU thing ever, but
he doesn't have them, dudes.
Yeah, and Denbrock called a decent game. I ran this.
Interesting.
I ran this by an OC who watched the game, and he told me the same thing. He said,
Denbrock called a great game.
Yeah.
Talking about drops in the end zone, they had 3 guys. 3. That game should have been 27-20 with a minute to go, and they could go down and score. That's how it should have been.
It should have been closer. But their offensive line wasn't ready for Will Anderson. They tried. They just couldn't get it done. Their receivers didn't make enough tough catches. And like you said, Ritter didn't play well enough to overcome it.
Hashtag Sam Darnold.
Right. Yeah. And look, great quarterbacks can overcome that sometimes. Joe did it versus Clemson. They were able to get a lot of pressure on Joe, and he was able to overcome it. But it's hard. That's like 1 out of every 10 quarterbacks, or 1 out of every 100 quarterbacks, honestly, that are able to overcome some rough protection at times. And yeah, I mean, I absolved Denbrock of that game. I thought he called a fine game.
Last question. This comes from Keaton. It's not really a question. Okay, but he says, all these elite wide receivers and you want a running quarterback. Shaking my head. Buddy said earlier, like Lamar Jackson. Notice how Lamar is not viewed as a top 10 quarterback like Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. First and foremost, let me say this. I didn't say a running quarterback. I said a mobile quarterback. There's a big difference. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Carter. How do you know you have elite wide receivers? People in sports use that adjective way too much, just like they use GOAT way too much. I'm a part of it, too. The only elite wide receiver you have on this team right now, his last name's Booty, and he's rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere.
I like it. I'll say that.
You got to be careful with the word elite, Carter. Do you agree with that? I mean, who else on this team's elite?
Jack. I believe it. I fully believe it.
Okay. But is he elite yet? Has he shown you that? Is he in the elite status? Is he in the Kayshon Boutte status?
No, nobody. Well, nobody is. Like that's like S tier, God tier, first round pick tier, right? So Jack isn't like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase good like Kayshawn is right now. But I think he's going to take another step. I think you'll start saying his name more like you say Jarvis Landry's name. I'm serious. I think Jack's that good. I really do.
But there's a difference in being a great player, and I think Jack is a great player, versus when I think elite, I think Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
I think Justin Jefferson.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like when somebody says that to me, you better come with it. Like, hey, dog, 20 touchdowns in a season. That's elite to me. I think Jack's great. I don't, anyway.
No, I know you do. Yeah. But you are right. There is a difference between great and elite. Now, I will say this. The Lamar discourse has just been a lot of fun.
What was that today, by the way?
Just craziness, honestly. Lamar's a great quarterback. Yes, he doesn't play like the others, but I mean, Justin Herbert is probably he's a dual threat quarterback. Josh Allen is one of the best running quarterbacks I've ever seen.
That's what I don't understand. And this dude's saying Josh Allen.
I took Josh Allen 1.1 in a dynasty. I mean, he's a clear-cut QB1 for fantasy. But look, Lamar is still great. He's still great.
In his MVP season, he threw for 66% completion, 3,127 yards, 36 touchdowns in the air, 6 interceptions. He ran for, he got a QBR of 113. God dang. Oh, no, QBR of 83, a QBR rate of 113. And he ran for, I don't see it here. I mean, hell, he did run for another 1,300 yards.
It's amazing. He's still a good thrower.
If you throw 36 touchdown passes in a season, the 6 interceptions, sign me up.
Lamar can play. Lamar can play. That's all there is to it. It doesn't look normal, but
He's not normal.
He's not normal. He's not normal.
He is not the same. He is a Martian.
I do agree that, of course, his pocket quarterback play should be better, but he throws over the middle of the field. He has a bunch of fourth quarter drives. I mean, I still think he's a really, really good quarterback. The discourse begins, though, when you start talking about where do you rank him amongst the AFC quarterbacks. I tell you, the only ones I take over him are Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Mahomes. That's it.
I gotta be honest. I'm gonna tell you something that I'm probably gonna eat these words. I'm not taking Justin Herbert right now.
Oh,
not over Lamar.
Justin Herbert? Are you kidding?
Yeah, go look at the advanced analytics. When the game is on the line, he's gonna throw a pick. Go look at it. It is scary the amount of turnovers he has late in the fourth quarter or when the game's in crunch time. Carter, I can remember 4 vividly.
I'll say this.
He's gonna kill with a chest.
I will say this. Justin Herbert's drive versus the Raiders is one of the best fourth quarter drives I have ever seen. And
he got lucky.
No, he didn't, Blake. Those throws were unfreaking real. Are you kidding? Please.
The Raiders? The Raiders?
Yes. Justin Herbert had the greatest. That was one of the.
They had a guy from the concession that was making nacho cheese in the DB room because of COVID.
Yeah, it was still amazing. It was that was a John Elway level
cornbread. That's what the DBs were saying at halftime before they had to come on the field.
Dude, that drive was insane.
All right, I'll give you that.
Okay. I give Herbert slight edge over Lamar. I'm still taking Joey B over Herbert.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. But Herbert's got to get to a playoff sooner or later, though. He's got to get to a playoff sooner or later. He's got to make a little bit of a run.
Especially now with their roster being the way that it is. I know, with the way
there's no wide receiver Lamar has better than Keenan Allen. I think I can make the argument the best wide receiver outside of Jamar Chase that any of those quarterbacks have is Keenan Allen.
I agree.
Tyreek Hill's not in Kansas City anymore. You got Jamar. What you going to go, Stephon Diggs or Keenan Allen?
Diggs is better. Diggs is better than Keenan Allen.
Oh,
Stephon Diggs are you kidding me? Stephon Diggs is way better than Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's had the better career, a better career. I'll say this. In terms of weapons, Derek Carr actually has the best weapons down in the AFC.
Well, that's true. I forgot about Devontae Adams now.
They got Devontae Adams, the slot monster Renfro. They got Waller back. And they got our guy, Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau is a good NFL tight end.
First off, I got to ask you this question before we get you out of here. Did you hear him about Leonard Fournette? Did you hear his comments about Leonard Fournette?
What did he say? I've got to know.
So it was Joe Burrow's. No. Something happened because Fournette and Burrow weren't there. So it must have been 17. And there was a huge fight. Okay. And Foster Moreau was getting jumped by the defense. Okay. Yeah. And none of the offensive dudes ran over there. And so Foster Moreau says the next day before practice, he goes, and he's like, me and Lenny weren't that close. And Lenny is in the middle of the offensive meeting saying, say, dog, you got to have Foster's back. Everybody throwing down. The first tackle in team period, coaches, players, support staff, media, y'all are throwing punches. Foster, we got your back. And he said in 2017, there was an all-out brawl on the practice field. Dudes were throwing punches. And at the end of it, Fournette walks up to Foster and says, I got your back, dog.
I love that.
But you know what? I guarantee you Fournette got hurt in that play too. I've
got to find this interview.
Oh, it's all I forget who he was with. That's insane, dude. Could you imagine the two bulls of Leonard Fournette and Devin White throwing down UFC style?
That'd be crazy. That'd be pay-per-view right there.
Oh, dude, I'd pay $1,000 right now.
Well, when they're both retired,
Fat Lenny or Skinny Lenny?
Oh, Fat Lenny. Fat Lenny's got more behind those passes. Fat. I'm taking Fat Lenny over any running back that's ever existed. And I know, like I brought this up last week. I hope Leonard Fournette plays at 260 pounds. I really do. Just
really.
It would be the funnest thing of all time. And I love Lenny in any shape, form, or fashion. And the fact that everybody
so does Mary Lee Donuts.
Yeah, but guess what? If he wants to be that big, let him be that big, baby. Because look, he plays for the Buccaneers. Most people are Saints fan. I'm a Saints fan. You're a Saints fan. But Lenny's perfect. He doesn't need to change anything. He doesn't need. He's absolutely perfect.
Funeral chicken Fournette, as Pooh Bear says. All right, I'm getting you out of here. You've been here too long. You got a fiance. By the way, you got everybody on planet Earth, by the way, with one of these bands now. Speaking of Booga Nation. Hey, buddy, thank you so much. Hey, this time next week, you'll be on the show, and guess what we'll be talking about?
Actual practice.
Actual practices. We're getting ready. Carter, I love you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
All right, that's Carter, the Power Bryant. Let's pay these bills very quickly. I'm going to end the show with a Jay Johnson update on Paul Skeens. So stay tuned. Let's talk about our good friends over at Pristine Auction. PristineAuction.com. Guys, we'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll wrap the show up. Guys, let me tell you about my friends over at PristineAuction.com. PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site with an A+ triple B rating. Auctions on Pristine start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items that are available, so you win signed authentic signatures at a very affordable price. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for just $110. Deals like this are happening all the time on PristineAuction.com, and they have just about every player that you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. You already know that I've been over there looking at LSU and Saints items. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reliable sources and authenticitors. Upgrade your auction and collection and sign memorabilia today and get a $10 off your first item won when you use the code SERIOUS. That's SERIOUS, SERIOUS, when you sign up. Again, pristineauction.com, pristineauction.com. Use that promo code SERIOUS on your first order. Bringing the producers. One of them just so happened to be in Cozumel this week. Here's us. And Pooh Bear, I don't know what Pooh Bear does, but guys, let me give a very quick update on Paul Skeens. I'm going to get y'all's opinions, and we're going to get out of here. I heard Paul Skeens. I put this in the message board. I'm not going to give all the info out that I put in the message board. Paul Skeens, really talented Air Force guy that went to the transfer portal, was on campus this weekend. Not a lot coming out there right now. I think LSU feels confident, but I think that they have no idea what Paul Skeens is going to do. I'm going to give a pretty big drop tomorrow morning about Paul Skeens on the AYS forum message board. Okay, we have people telling us don't forget about Rudy Poo of the week. So, guys, I'll kick it off with y'all there. Is there one person in sports for y'all that deserves the Rudy Poo of the week?
Look, I ain't got sports, but y'all know I was on a cruise this past week. Rudy Poo of the week, the customer service line on the Carnival Valor. It was bad.
Why was it bad?
Man, like the last 2 days, they was backed up into the theater. It was like, it was really bad. Nobody could do nothing.
Rich people problems.
Well, that's what I was going to say. First,
they want their money. They want their money back. It's crazy.
I mean, excuse us, Zach. I mean, geez. Beggars can't be choosers. Was there your favorite meal on the cruise that you liked?
Yeah, shrimp cocktail. I know that's like seems really generic, but their shrimp cocktail was really good.
I got to be honest. The more and more you talk, the more and more white you become. You're almost at Casper the Friendly Ghost white. I just got to be honest. Pooh Bear, what about you, brother?
I'm gonna agree with my good man Aunt Marshall. Disney is Rudy Poo of the week.
Okay, why Disney?
So we aired our show last night, and Aunt gave this heartfelt altar call.
Yeah.
USC hit us with copyright, so I've been fighting that all day. Yeah. Thanks,
Fine.
Disney.
Well, y'all remember my first Facebook page got taken down because of something like that, and I just stay away from it, man. You know, I understand it on both sides. You know, like the way I feel about it, Pooh, is I pay my bill every month to watch the UFC live. I pay ESPN Plus, like. You know, at what point can I not have some of the content? I don't.
My question is, if I repost their tweet or their video, am I not just expanding their
credit?
footprint?
Oh, Al Andrews said Zach was sucking on them shrimp.
It was good.
All right.
Pause.
I give Zach a hard time in here, but y'all got to put some respect on my man's name at the end of the day. Y'all got to put my
I had a good time.
Michael B says Notre Dame fans. Lamar Williams says Zach with them basic ass taste buds. Cocktail is terrible. And Ryan says, man, forget Disney. Guys, mine's going to be the NCAA. This you can transfer every year bullshit is so out of just guys, they're ruining the sport. I'm good with a 1-year transfer. I'm good with you even transferring in conference. But guys, every 4 years, where we're going to, and I don't know if y'all saw this, but the Big Ten is now asking, the players are asking for a collective bargaining agreement, which I'm kind of okay with into some sense. Because here's the thing. If you're getting paid $100 million for TV rights, you better pay some of them players some of it. And I got to be honest, $30,000 scholarship is not moving the needle for my ass. You're offering me that scholarship to come to your campus, and you are doing that, not me. But I get the TV rights are a whole completely different scenario. I'm so over they get a scholarship in books and tuition and shit.
Thank you. Thank you.
So far off of that, I can't, because it's like a signing bonus. Hey, Blake, we want you to come work for us. We're going to give you 4 years of this amount no matter what. After that, see ya. Okay? Maybe 5 if you're lucky. I am so far off of that. This TV rights.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, this is going to kill the sport. If you allow players to transfer 4 times without penalty, it's going to kill it. You got to put regulations on some of this now at some point. I'm okay with NIL. I'm okay with the collective bargaining agreement, however you want to do it. But the 4-time transfer thing is out of line for me.
Too much.
Completely agree. We talked about that last night as well. I definitely, I don't know. It's. I don't know the answer, but I can tell you where the problem started. And this is Rudy Poole of a lifetime NCAA. They had a chance to fix this way back when Ed O'Bannon was telling them, "Hey, you're marketing my face. I need to get paid.
Pay them. They should have just paid them and been done with it."
Boom.
We might have to not worry about it though, because it seems like we're headed in the direction of the extinction of the NCAA.
EA Sports was ready to pay.
Well,
they had no problem.
Here's the thing. They think that the federal government's going to continue to give them regulation over all this because somebody's got to govern the sport. Guys, who's going to govern it?
How do you govern capitalism? Because you can't say a player is only allowed to make so much.
I don't think it's too much, but okay, you do if it's a collective bargaining agreement, you do limit with a salary cap, right? So you do have limits on how much certain players can make. The draft, and look, Pooh, quite honestly, if you don't want to play in it, then you don't have to go, and that's what the PGA Tour has a problem with because live golf is just coming there and taking everybody that they can. All I'm saying is I'm okay with them getting paid. What I'm not okay with is a player playing in 4 different schools in 4 different years. I have a huge problem with that. So that's my Rudy Poo of the week. Okay, guys, we'll see y'all again tomorrow. Camp is right around the corner. We'll see y'all again soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.